All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Self-Care for the Signs. My name is Christine, aka the Dreaming Piscean. I am an astrologer, a mental health counselor, a well-being coach and consultant, vibe curator, a creative, all the things. I wear all the hats. So we are in a period of kind of high stress. There's a lot of different energy present. We've just come through the eclipse period. We're still in just for a little while longer. Mercury retrograde, though we still have Mercury retro shade that will be present a few weeks after the retrograde ends. And we just we're in the midst of the exact aspect of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. They've been close to each other for some time now, but they are in exact conjunction with one another. And so there's just a lot of energy, a lot of heavy energy around. People are feeling very tired, very lethargic. Some people are feeling great. Some people don't necessarily recognize things that they're feeling at all. But the point is, many of us are feeling a lot of things. And the most important thing is that we really stay tuned and in tune with ourselves and take care of ourselves well. We're taking care of ourselves, right? Pouring into ourselves so that we can continue to pour into our families, our friends, our communities. That pouring into doesn't happen unless we are pouring into ourselves. So we're going to talk about some self-care practices today. Again, we're going to start with our fire element, which means we are talking about Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So let's get into it, friends. So our fire signs, they bring us very lively energy. They are like life force energy, right? So if you think about Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, they've always got a lot of physical energy. They're full of life. And so they are going to all really need activity. They're going to need things that are stimulating. And, they might need a little social connection, but as we'll talk about, they also will need some time to come back to themselves and refresh themselves, as we all do, really. So let's jump into it. Let's start with Aries, right? And just a side note here. I started this list on the I'm Such a Pisces podcast. If you are not a listener, you should join us over on the I'm Such a Pisces podcast, myself and my co-host Shelby. We got into a shortened version of this list on our 69th episode entitled Self-Care for the Signs. So if you haven't heard the beginning of this, go back and listen to that. I probably won't go heavily over the things that we talked about on the podcast, only because I already did that one time. So go check it out there and then come back over here and enjoy and join me for the rest of the list. So Aries, the first thing we talked about on the podcast, we talked about Aries and physical activity, right? Aries loves some action. Get some high energy workout, sports activities. I always like to say I have some Aries placements. Aries loves sex. Aries is governed by Mars. It's not me trying to be raunchy or weird. Aries loves sex. A good vigorous workout for Aries. Sex. They love that. But just anything very physically active is going to be great to allow Aries to get out that pent up, energy and stress. So physical activity first and foremost. Solo adventures are big for Aries, taking that time again to spend time with yourself, but also having an adventure for yourself. Explore a new place, a new part of town, taking a new restaurant, take a new, hiking path, a new hiking trail, just have an adventure for yourself. Number 3, some assertiveness training. Right, and so I talked about this a little on the podcast. I'm not going to go deeply into it, but Aries is kind of known to be a more aggressive energy. And so really practicing, those more assertive techniques, just really kind of bringing it down a little, Aries, right? There's all kinds of memes talk about like Aries breeze. Oh, I felt that was a little aggressive, like we're a little sensitive, I guess, Aries, it's, coming from a Pisces, but a Pisces with Aries energy. So, the duality exists here. But, learning those techniques to really get your needs, and your boundaries expressed effectively without, totally like torching the situation. Number 4 is mindfulness practice. Now, I am a mindfulness practitioner. I teach mindfulness. I've had mindfulness in my therapy practice for several years now, and do, some meditation work and practice on its own now. But mindfulness practice, I'm going to recommend honestly for everyone, but especially for our fire and our air energies, those mindfulness practices to really slow down your mind and really focus in on one thing. So, incorporating, a mindfulness meditation or some deep breathing exercises to manage your impulsive tendencies and promote inner peace, so, find a little meditation. I've got some meditations here on YouTube. I've got meditations for each sign, go check those out. Just find, something that is calming for your mind, maybe some binaural beats. Those are, very helpful, finding those frequency sounds to help calm your mind and really just taking some moments to clear the mind. That's always helpful. Next one, creative outlets, right? So channeling that energy in a different way, in a creative way. So all of that passion can be just tunnel vision channeled into, something like painting, writing. If you've got some air energy somewhere in your chart, you might be inclined towards writing or, graphic design, music, anything to allow yourself to just express yourself very freely. Those creative outlets are really great for that. I am a creative myself. I'm always dabbling in something, and it, because I have Aries energy, the thing that I am doing changes from moment to moment. I'm painting it one minute, and then I'm making a bracelet, and then, starting a candle over here and doing something with some plants. So I get it. It's, it's all over the place. But finding those practices, finding those creative practices and outlets will be very helpful for your self-care. Next thing, this is one we mentioned on the podcast, setting boundaries. Again, all of us need help here. We can learn from our earth sign friends. They're really great at boundaries. But learn how to say no, y'all. Like, especially our fire energies, they want to say yes to everything. They feel like you have boundless energy. And it's like, you probably do have more than most of us, right? Especially us water energies, we're just like, oh, not much energy at all. But you still have to take time for yourself. So you have to have that ability to say no and set those healthy boundaries so you too can avoid burnout and overwhelm. Next thing, adventure planning, right? So going on an adventure, right? Taking that solo adventure, whether it's, again, exploring a new part of town, going to a new restaurant, doing something on your own, that satisfies that little, adventure craving that you have. But this one is planning an adventure. So maybe something a little longer in term. So, setting, a plan for that next vacation, but like, are you climbing mountains? Are you going skiing? Are you, I don't know. What adventure do you enjoy? But whatever that is, taking the time to really plan that. And so that can be part of your self-care. And then, find the money to fund it. The next thing is finding competitive activities. This is what we talked about on the podcast. So engaging in those competitive activities or games to satisfy that competitive spirit in a healthy way, right? A healthy, good tennis match, or, a good game that, you're not going to get upset over, right? Like, if you have some, aggression issues here, be mindful. Be mindful of engaging in competition. But yeah, I mean, Aries likes to compete a little bit. So anytime you can just, get a little bit of that in, I think that feels good for the Aries, spirit. Okay, another one in the line of adventure, right? Healthy risk taking. Aries again is governed by Mars. Mars is definitely a risk taker. But remembering to do this in a healthy way, and that can be that can go across topics in your life, but healthy risk taking, whether it's your money, whether it's sex, whether whatever it is that you are doing that may be a little bit risky, make sure you're doing it in a healthy way. No recklessness. We're trying to be healthy and mature. We're not using our astrology to excuse our behavior, but we are using our astrology to inform on how we can improve. The next self-care tip is having that time alone. So we talked about this earlier. Everybody needs a little bit of time, depending on your energy, you might need more or less. But everybody needs a little bit of time to recharge and reflect on their goals and their priorities. So scheduling that for yourself, Aries, maybe it's once a week, maybe it's every other week, it doesn't have to be a whole day, it could be an hour. If that's all the time you need for yourself, just make sure you are being very intentional about taking it. Let's see. All right, so the next tip is goal setting. So I know that fire signs, are a little more spontaneous, right? You just live on the edge, just kind of go with the wind sometimes, right? But planning, is helpful. Take it from me, learning this as a water sign that just likes to, float and waft and, let the waves carry me sometimes. But my earth sign energies help me understand the value in planning, and I used to be a much better planner when I was younger. It's strange now that I just, as an adult, I just have let go of all planning. If I don't have to, I just don't. But setting those clear and achievable goals to maintain your focus and your motivation in your pursuits. So just making sure to take time to really sit down and look at those goals that you have for yourself, and if your actions are aligned with the goals that you have, and if not, taking the steps to improve on that, right? Yeah. Okay, so next we have positive affirmations. Again, those words of affirmation to really feed us. So practicing saying those positive affirmations to ourselves, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that, you're using affirmation cards. So, we love an affirmation card. I make some myself. Whether you write down your own affirmations, things that you specifically need to continue to feed yourself, right? We all know the messages we really need. So you can write your own affirmations, and you can, write them on index cards, and you can make your own affirmation cards, or you can just, write them on a Post-it note, stick it on your mirror, whatever works for you, wherever you're going to see those, and say them to yourselves, or at least think on them, reflect on them, let them, get into your psyche. Those are, those positive affirmations, they work. Try it out. Try it for 30 days. Tell me your thoughts. But I believe in, the power of the words that we speak to ourselves. And so give it a try. Another tip is social connection. Okay, now it's time to get out and socialize, all right? But make sure you're surrounding yourself with supportive friends and loved ones who understand and appreciate your fiery nature, okay? Everybody's not a fan. So don't surround yourself with people that aren't fans. Like, if they're not into it, find you some friends that are. Find you some people that really support who you are. All right, we have 2 more. The next thing is nature immersion. Now, we are earth signs. We always recommend spending time in nature for our earth signs, but it's good for our fire signs as well. So getting that time to ground yourself and find inspiration in the beauty of the outdoors is not only necessary, but it will be beneficial to your life. All right, the last tip for our Aries is journaling. So journaling is one of my favorite, areas of self-care. Just really getting time to write out your thoughts, to get out, all the things you need to say today, maybe you didn't get to say, or just reflecting on just things that are happening, things in your mind, things on your heart. People do prayer journals. People do all kinds of journals, manifestation journals. There are all kinds of journals around. But the point is just to have a space to just empty your mind. Again, a lot of this is really about clearing a lot of things out of your mind. That'll help you perform better, just in general, in your mind space. So having that journal, keep track of your thoughts, your emotions, maybe even your accomplishments, and providing clarity and insight to your inner world, right? Now, if you're a person who really enjoys the journaling practice, you might, like to go back and read old journals. I think we've talked about this on the I'm Such a Pisces podcast before, but just going back and reading those old passages, you're like, oh my God, what was I talking about? Like, I was so wrapped up in this whole situation. And then to see, however many years later, this is not even a thing on your mind. That's always just an interesting experience with journaling, seeing just what was so present for you that might not even be an issue in your life now. So take a look at those practices, and let me know what things work for you, Aries. All right, we'll be right back with our tips for Leos. All right, y'all, we are back and we're ready to talk about Leo and how Leo needs to practice self-care. All right, so jumping right in, we're talking about self-expression, right? These are our theater, our theatrical beings, right? These are our, maybe a little dramatic, but these are people who really have a need to express themselves, right? So allowing yourself that self-expression, right? Give yourself the shine and express your unique personality through your style, your creativity, and self-confidence, right? So, yeah, just give yourself space for it, right? You know you need it. We know you need it. Do your thing. All right, number 2, creative outlets. Leos are also known for just being creative beings, right? Again, that very lively air or earth. Sorry, I've called every energy but fire. The very lively fire energy that Leo is just really needs to, be creative and show, that creative expression, right? So engaging in those activities that allow you to showcase your talents, express your passion, whatever that is, whether it's art, it's music, theater, drawing, design, however you need to, express yourself. Do your thing. Again, do your thing, Leo. Another sign, again, positive affirmations. Boost yourself up a little bit, feed your ego just a little bit, Leo, just a teens, not too much, but there's nothing wrong with boosting your self-esteem with some daily affirmations and reminders of your worth and your talent and your achievements, okay? But again, don't go overboard. There's a balance, find it. But everyone needs to give themselves that praise as well. So that does not exclude you, Leo. All right, next, number 4, give yourself a pampering session. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be crazy expensive, whatever fits your budget and whatever kind of pampering that you need. So, this could be luxurious, like massages and facials and spa days. Or this could be, a little face mask at the house, taking some time, just relax, listen to a little music, vibe out for a little bit, and just, give yourself a little pedicure. It doesn't have to be something that breaks the bank. Again, do everything within your budget. The pampering is just taking the time and doing something for yourself. It's not necessarily about the dollar amount, but then again, I'm talking to Leo. So again, go big, go big, Leo, go big. Just make sure you're doing things to recharge your energy. Okay, number 5, we have socializing. And our fire energies are very lively and they want to socialize. So take that time. Surround yourself again with supportive friends and loved ones who celebrate your strengths and your individuality. So that's the big advice with socializing for our fire signs, is making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right kind of people that are really in your corner and there for you. Leo is known for loyalty, right? So making sure you're really vetting the people that are around you. Number 6 is getting a physical exercise. Again, fire energy, gotta move. It's very active. So for you, Leo, staying active and energized with physical activities that are challenging and invigorating you, such as dance or yoga or team sports, those things are going to be really helpful for your energy to, keep that energy going, right? So make sure you're finding whatever that is for you. Find that physical activity. Another sign that loves adventure, Leo. So seeking out those new experiences, adventures that ignite your passions and sense of excitement, whether it's traveling to an exotic destination or trying an adrenaline-pumping activity. Okay, so, again, finding those things that really light you up, Leo. And sometimes, again, when you're talking about someone who's creative, you need to find new things to light you up, to inspire the work that you're doing. So, always having that sense of adventure and seeking out new experiences. Number 8, recognition. So, again, just like those positive affirmations, we all need a little recognition sometimes. And so sometimes we need others to recognize us, and sometimes we need to be the one to recognize our own achievements. So acknowledging and celebrating your accomplishments and your milestones, both big and small, are going to fuel your motivation and sense of pride, right? And so, we know Leo's big, big heart energy, big, pride energy. And so, really taking the time to feed that for yourself, regardless of whether others give that to you. Just acknowledging those things within yourself. That's going to be really big for your own self-care. Number 9 is finding drama-free zones, right? That we know you like the stage, but creating drama-free zones in your life is going to be really beneficial for your peace, right? So setting boundaries and avoiding toxic relationships or environments that drain your energy are going to be really important as a self-care practice. So give yourself that space in your life where there is peace. And so sometimes we don't know peace and we don't recognize, like, oh no, I'm actually at peace. We're so used to chaos and, cycles of toxicity that peace can actually be difficult for us. But making sure you're intentional about creating those spaces in your life that really allow you to have peace in your life. That's so important. Okay, let's talk about number 10, personal branding. Now, what do we mean there, right? So, invest time in building your personal brand and cultivating a strong online presence that reflects your values, your passions, and your talents. Now, again, if you're not selling anything, if you're not making anything that maybe doesn't pertain to you, but, as a Leo, you probably are, doing something outwardly, right? Some kind of outwardly talent or gift that you have. And so really investing that time in building that in yourself as a brand, as, whatever that gift is that you're sharing with the world, just pouring into that in a kind of a business way. That's a good way to practice self-care. Next, we have finding leadership opportunities. So, Leo is a big leader, kind of leading energy, right? Leading role, right? So seeking out opportunities to lead and inspire others, whether it's in your professional life, in your community, or in your social circles, just finding those opportunities where you can really step up as a leader. That's going to really feed, again, into your energy in a beneficial way. Next, we have finding a gratitude practice. So, with all that big energy that Leo has, really what's going to feel even better to you is when you can be thankful for all the things that are in your life. So, cultivating that practice of gratitude to focus on the abundance and the blessings in your life, right? We can focus on the negatives or we can focus on the positives. So really taking that time to focus there on the things that are already there, the things you already have. And you can also be thankful for the things that are coming, the blessings that you know are coming into your life. Like, that gratitude practice really attracts more positive energy and abundance into your life. So fostering that positive and optimistic outlook is going to, again, be very beneficial for your overall self-care. All right, we have self-reflection. So, Leo, taking time, again, we know you're very active energy and you're out there, you're doing your things. But taking that time, again, for yourself, for self-reflection and introspection, it's going to help you gain clarity on your goals and your values and your aspirations, because we know you have big dreams and big goals, but you always have to take that time to self-reflect. All right, and last for our Leos, generosity. So this goes along with that gratitude practice, right? Like that gratitude and then the generosity. And so sharing your time, your resources, and your talents with others, experiencing the joy of giving and making a positive impact in the lives of those around you. So, really taking that time, whether it's scheduled time or whether it's just doing, a random act of kindness, right? Be generous. Again, that energy that we put out is energy that's, going to come back, right? So continue to put out gratitude, continue to be generous in your day-to-day with your time, your talent, again, your heart, energy. Just be generous, and that energy is coming back to you. Just know that. All right. So that is everything for Leo. We're going to jump into Sag in just a moment. Okay. To wrap this session up, we have Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is our wanderer, right? It's our adventure spirits, our explorer, our expansive energy, right? And that expansion usually, comes through knowledge or through some kind of life experience, cultural experience. So, what does Sagittarius need to care for themselves? So, number one that we talked about on the podcast, is adventure, right? And this is our adventure. So, you're definitely going to want to embrace that adventurous spirit by seeking out new opportunities, whether it's traveling to, unfamiliar destinations, trying new activities, or exploring different cultures. Like, Sag is going to want to take all of that in. All of that is very, again, it's feeding the Sag spirit. So, the next thing, again, for fire energy is physical activity. Like I said, that was going to be one for all fire energies because they need the physical activity. They love to be active. So, staying active and energized by engaging in physical activities that you enjoy, such as hiking, biking, dancing, anything to release tension and boost your mood. Those are the things you're going to want to do. Now, number 3 is optimism. So Sag is an optimistic type of energy. Sag is always looking towards the bright side. They don't like to be kind of stuck in negative energy. They don't want to be around negativity. They're like, it's not it's not their vibe. So if you can't kind of turn it around, it's just like, they're kind of trying to get away from you. So, for Sag, it's going to be important to cultivate a positive outlook on life by focusing on those silver linings, finding humor in difficult situation, and Sag is really great at finding a joke in some messed up stuff. Okay, they're really great at that. So, just really fostering that energy within yourself, Sag, because that's what we need you for. That we need you, and trusting the inherent goodness of the universe, right? Being that bright side, trusting that we're all not out here just as fucked up as we seem. That's Sag, and Sag has that optimism that we love. And so just keep feeding that, Sag. That is beautiful. Number 4, philosophical reflection. So again, these are our thinkers. They really get into a little philosophy, a little dogma. So taking time for philosophical reflection and contemplation to ponder life's big questions and expand your understanding of the world, Sag. So, whether that's getting into your personal studies, things that, really, get you thinking and get you, going, or just reflecting on, those big questions in life. That's your energy, and that's what feeds you. Taking time for social connection, that's number 5. Again, surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who also share your enthusiasm for life and adventure. You're going to want to prioritize spending time with friends and loved ones who uplift and inspire you. Again, kind of staying out of that negative energy. You don't want any of those low vibrations. Sag is really a high vibe kind of energy. They really are not looking for those lower vibrations. So number 6 is finding spontaneity. Again, this is just a specialty for Sag. Just embracing that spontaneity, going with the flow, allowing yourself to follow your instincts and pursue opportunities as they arise. Number 7 is learning and growth. And these we talked about on the podcast, so I'm hitting them a little quicker, just because we covered these a little bit. So, again, Sagittarius is our sign of expansion, ruled by Jupiter. So feeding that curiosity by seeking out opportunities for learning and personal growth, whether it's through books or courses or hands-on experience. Just feed yourself. Learn something new today, okay? Number 8 is freedom. We know you love to roam, okay? So having that time to be alone, having that time to be independent, honoring your need for freedom and independence by creating space for solo adventures, right? Solo time, allowing yourself to explore your interests and your passions without constraint. So just take the time for yourself. It's okay. We all need that time. And if anyone is telling you otherwise, get away from it. We all need solo time, okay? So there's nothing wrong with that, Sag. Okay, so number 9, we have nature immersion. Again, I told you that nature immersion was not going to just be for the earth signs, right? Our fire signs need that time too. And Sag is particularly a sign that enjoys nature kind of activities, because again, these are adventurers, so they like to be out here in nature, but they're kind of doing some extreme things. Maybe they might be jumping out of planes, or climbing to tops of mountains, or things like that. They might be whitewater rafting. They might not just be taking a stroll by the lake. They're like in there fighting crazy waves, or just doing very adventurous things, right? So just taking that time to spend time outdoors, connect with the natural world, whether it's again a little lighter, like walking in the park, or camping under the stars, enjoying the beauty of nature, or maybe it's those more extreme sports that are outside. Number 10, again, same line of thinking, opt outside, right? Make time for outdoor activities. Like, can you do it outside? Then do it outside. Being outside is really going to rejuvenate your spirit and bring you closer to the earth. So doing things like beach days, nature hikes, picnics, just anything that allows you to be outside is going to really be good for you. All right, number 11, mindfulness in motion, right? Some of us need a more still mindfulness and meditation practice. Our fire signs, not as much. If you check out some of my meditations for the signs, I think at least 1 or 2 of the fire sign meditations are active meditations, so things you can do while walking, while working out, because I know that our fire signs, that meditation, that mindfulness looks a little bit different. It's a little more active. It's not necessarily our sit and be still and clear the mind and do our mudras. Like it's not necessarily that. Our fire signs really are going to need something that they can put some energy towards. So incorporating activities like yoga or tai chi, or mindful walking to your daily routine to cultivate that presence and inner peace is going to be really good. So even if it's an active meditation, it doesn't always have to be fast either, right? Tai Chi is very slow movement, and that might actually be really good for a fire energy to engage in something that they have to be very intentional about being slow with. That creates a little bit more challenge for them. All right, the next one, number 12, we talked about this a little bit on the podcast. It is laughter therapy. So, again, Sagittarius is very optimistic energy. They love to laugh and they love to make you laugh. So finding those opportunities for laughter and joy, whether it's through a comedy show, a funny movie, or spending time with lighthearted friends that make you laugh and smile and giggle, right? Like, we love that. More of that, all of us, more of that. But that's a really good self-care practice for you, Sag. So just lean into those times. Number 13 is gratitude practice. Again, having that practice of gratitude by acknowledging and appreciating that abundance that's in your life, and fostering that sense of contentment and fulfillment. It's going to just continue to, reap that abundance as well. So just the more we put gratitude out there for what we have, the more, we are able to receive back. It really is a cycle like that. Next, number 14 is personal exploration. So, taking that journey of self discovery by exploring your interests, your passions, and your values, and embracing the unique qualities that make you who you are. So, again, we do a lot of exploration of other topics, right? We talk about all these things in the world and these different cultural practices, but taking that exploration inside and inward in doing all of that on yourself, you might find some things there. And lastly, for our Sagittarius, is finding a balanced approach. So, again, our fire energies are a lot go, 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 and they're just full of life, full of energy. And sometimes we need to find that balanced approach where we're getting that energy out, but also having time to pour back into ourselves. So, maintaining that balance in your life by honoring your need for adventure and exploration, while also taking time to rest, recharge, reflect on your experiences. All right, so that has been self-care practices for our fire signs. I'll be back next with our earth signs, Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. And we'll be talking about more practices to, get our self-care together. Okay, y'all, let's get this self-care thing together. Let me know if you try any of these, if you do any of these. Give me your feedback. Let me know what you think. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. All right, see you guys.